It's a good time to be a StarCraft 2 commentator. I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes trying to decide which series I should go ahead and cast today. There's so many good options. They've released the replay pack for, well, the last premier StarCraft 2 tournament of 2023. For a couple weeks, basically the way this usually goes, right? For a couple of weeks, I don't have a lot of replays to cast, and I'm really trying to, well, find as many good games of StarCraft to feature on my channel. And then a premier tournament wraps up, they release the replays publicly, and I have dozens upon dozens of series that I can potentially upload right here on YouTube. I figured I'll just go with this one. I think this is going to be a series that every StarCraft fan is going to enjoy. Spotting right here, in the top left-hand corner of game number 1 in today's best of 3 series. Playing with the blue Zerg drones, we have Serral, and his opponent in the opposite corner, he goes by the name of ByuN. ByuN, of course, is going to be playing with the red Terran pieces. ByuN versus Serral could be one of the very best series we'll ever see, you know? It's just that there's so many good games out available right now. I know there's like a best of 5 series between Maru and Hero. There's a bunch of good Clem games out there. I know there's a Raynor versus Solar series as well, where Raynor is playing Protoss against. So, I mean, there's a bunch of really cool stuff available. But I figured I'll go with this one today, because I gotta start somewhere. If you are interested, however, in those other series that I've brought up as well, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's right below the like button. It basically keeps you up to date with everything that I do on the YouTube channel. And if I look at the YouTube analytics, actually, I mean, I always think, right, that getting one day to 1 million subscribers is completely unreasonable. I think I'm sitting at like, what, 500,000 or something at this point in time? I try to not really pay attention to it all too much. But then I look at my YouTube analytics, and like half of my viewers aren't actually subscribed. I think actually more than half. So maybe it's possible one day. I think we're probably going to need a new RTS for that, though. I think it's going to be difficult for StarCraft 2. But it looks like there's quite a few good RTS games on the horizon. That, however, will be a discussion for another video. Serral opening up with what seems to be quick triple hatch. ByuN opening up with what seems to be quick triple Reaper. This is a build order that, yeah, Terrans used to play for several months, basically exclusively. They absolutely loved it, and now, I mean, it's popular, but I wouldn't say it's the most popular build. It's actually kind of cool to see the top-level Terran players play this matchup in the early game quite a bit differently. For example, ByuN still plays a lot of triple Reaper. He's very good at the Reaper, of course. He single-handedly... Oh, gets a drone. Nicely done. He single-handedly got the Reaper nerfed in like 2016. Imagine this unit, but then like twice as good, okay? That's... Okay, maybe not twice as good, but it was kind of ridiculous. He already got the Reaper nerfed, and yeah, there's no denying he's still very good at it. Oh, is he gonna get another? I mean, if it's up to him, he will try and snipe it, but no. Serral morphs in that gas geyser just barely in time. Is it only 2 Reapers? Huh. This was a double Reaper start. Okay. So this was a triple Reaper opener where he went for 2 Reapers. Absolute classic ByuN, isn't it? I've seen a lot of Terrans actually recently go for like 5 Reapers off of this build rather than 3. ByuN apparently goes for 2. That's a little bit funky. Anyways, what I was going to say is that you have guys like, for example, Clem, for example, Maru as well, who open up with a lot of quick triple command center 1-1-1, where they go for Heli and Banshee. Then you have... Ooh, Terran players like, for example, Cure, that go for like a variation of that same style, but he likes to mix in a lot of Cyclones. And I don't really ever see guys like, for example, Clem, mix in Cyclones ever. So it's kind of cool. Like the top level Terrans in the world, I think those are probably like the best 4 or 5 or so Terrans that we have right now. Yeah, they all open up differently, which is kind of neat. Anyhow, triple barracks here on the back of this. It's difficult for Serral at this point to figure out, though, exactly what's going on, right? So he's got an Overlord over here, and he wants to scout. He wants to see what's happening inside of this Terran's base. Rather than going, yeah, he's checking out as much as he can. I think he's looking for saturation. Rather than going for a scout in the main base, he's just trying to not sacrifice the Overlord and get as much information as possible. The problem here, right, for the Zerg is that this could be, for example, a 5-Rex all-in. That would be, well, an all-in. It would be very difficult for the Terran player to execute with any sort of follow-up, but it would also mean that there would be a ton of Marines going across. Seeing, for example, that the fact that, yeah, there's 2 gas geysers taken, he saw that there were Vespian gas right there. He saw that there was Vespian gas being returned as well to the command center over there. He knows that it's a double gas opener, so he also now knows that it's probably not going to be 5 wrecks, but there's a lot of limited information that Serral currently has to deal with, and that's one of the strengths of this opener. What a weird one right here from ByuN. It's just Marines with Stimpak and combat shields. Okay, he's baiting those queens as far away as possible. Getting 1 queen so far. That's not quite enough, of course, yet to justify this, but Serral doesn't have enough units. No. And this is the real strength of these weird Marine starts, right? I mean, I'm still not in love with this, if I'm being brutally honest with you. Yeah, 41 Zerglings, 20 Marines, 2 Queen. I don't think this is actually that great for ByuN, all things considered. But you can see how much Serral struggles against that opener. It could have, for example, also been a 3rd command center here for ByuN instead, right? Rather than adding on additional barracks. Well, he's adding on additional barracks right now. There's so much variety. These barracks could have already been up for several minutes, or there could be like even quadruple command center. There's a lot of variety, and it's difficult for the Zerg player to scout at all. So I think Serral is actually quite okay with losing those queens and those Zerglings against it, because at the very least right now he gets a bit of time here to drone up. We're gonna go for the lair. We'll see the Baneling speed here momentarily, I'm sure, although there is also a Roachborn in the mix. That one surprises me a bit. Yeah, so there's no 3rd CC. Like, this is kind of crazy, actually. So we're going up to 5 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. So this is a 5-1-1, I guess? This used to be a popular style back in, like, literally 2010. Back when Terrans first figured out how they can make a command center in the first place, this used to be a pretty popular build. I mean, maybe not with the Reaper start, but... yeah, how many times has Zerg really played against it? Huh. Curveball thrown right here in the earlier stages of this series, so Baneling speed is coming up, but you can see Serral also making roaches right now. He's going for a single armor upgrade. He definitely cannot afford this base. What Serral needs to do is make non-stop army from here on out. If he finishes up Baneling speed, that, well, upgrade is going to make any sort of attack defense so much easier. Yeah, I love that siege tank position over there. Great control here, once again, of course, by ByuN. Maybe it's to be expected, but look at this attack. Whoa, he's even moving into the Banelings. It's like, yep, I got this. What a strange way to play. It's such a ByuN-esque style to play as well. There is still no 3rd command center, and Zerg has no idea about it. So Serral sees that there's at the very least like no base landed yet, but that doesn't mean that there's no command center over here building for quite a while already. But no, this is just an extended 2-base all-in right here for ByuN. All Serral needs to do is shut down this upcoming attack. Now, if he's making drones, I mean, 1 drone I guess is acceptable, but he really needs to just simply hold whatever the Terran's gonna throw at him. But he is making the assumption, because this happens in like 99% of the games that he plays, he's making the assumption that there is a 3rd command center out there somewhere. No Banelings over here. Trying to get the medevac right now with the queens. Okay, he will get one of the medevacs, but a good efficient trade once again on those Marines. Big push right now towards the right side of the map too, but I'm starting to get a little bit concerned right here for ByuN as well, because he needs to win the game with his attack. There's just no way for him to transition out of this. Okay, good biles here once again. I actually really like the addition of the Roaches and the Ravagers. At least in theory, I think they're good. Okay, picks up at least most of the Marines, gets on out of there. Serral trying to lean into his superior economy. This Terran style makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Look at this, right? So he's already oversaturated his bases. We're 8 minutes in, and because of all that mule mining, he's running out of juice. So in like 2 minutes time, ByuN is gonna be completely dried up. Obviously, he can like fly the command center, I guess, down to the low ground. Killing the 4th base is not gonna cut it, ByuN. Killing the 4th base is not enough. But what it does do is that it, at the very least, baits the Zerg into a false sense of security. Great pickup right here, though. Yeah, by Serral. Getting one of those tanks already is massive. But maybe seeing the Terran go for the 4th base is gonna give Serral the idea that, yeah, no, it's actually okay. Maybe I can even make a round of drones again. That would be crazy. Those biles are so clean, by the way. It's so easy to mess that up. I can tell you that from experience. I mess it up all the time. Nice targeting right here on those Banelings, though. ByuN is so lethal when it comes to Well, just microing his basic units. He's actually starting to break through some of this. What's the end goal here, ByuN? Well, I guess the goal is to win the game by now. But it kind of feels to me that we are starting to run at a wall. It's not that these trades are cost inefficient. It's just that Serral is mining so much more throughout this game. I've got a feeling that this next wave is really gonna be do or die, but I've had that feeling for like the last 5 minutes already, so... Yeah, we're just gonna do an extended 2-base all-in. God, okay. Armory coming up, second engineering bay coming up. ByuN is actually planning on playing a macro game from here? If you're a Terran player and you're watching this and you feel inspired, I feel like you shouldn't be. I feel like this is one of those builds that if you execute it and your name does not start with a B and ends with YUN, you're just gonna get murdered. It just does not seem like a good build. But it may just work out. I'm a fan because it's so weird, but I also don't think it's something you want to implement in your own games, because it is so easy to mess this up. Okay. Well, this is a scary amount of Terran, though. Yeah, he's gonna be able to get rid of those bases easy peasy. Big Zerg counterattack, it looks like, but Marines and a medevac, mostly dealing with that. Ish, sort of. All of those trades are really good, though, for Terran. Look at that. 10,000 minerals broken right here. On the side of the Zerg, only 5.7k for ByuN. So ByuN still finds himself at a supply lead. Can we mix in like 4 Banelings, Serral, and just... That would be nice. Anyways, triple medevac drop going towards the main base. I think ByuN is doing it. Like, Serral is not looking so hot over here anymore. He doesn't have any Banelings in the mix. I mean, now they're finally showing up. Fight over here in the middle of the map as well. Microed well at the same time by ByuN. How is he target firing Banelings in the main base and microing his units over here? I don't know. Maybe the man's playing with 2 monitors. 2 sets of mice and keyboard. One of them on the floor, controlled with his feet. I don't know how he does it. This is actually a banger of a game. As uncomfortable as it makes me. Yeah, ByuN is actually... He's getting some income again. Huh. 2-2, by the way, has been started up. What? Look at this main base. It's not like Zerg attacked him and he couldn't, like, build up regular infrastructure. This is a very empty Terran's main. If this is a loss, though, for Serral, it's also an absolute tilter, right? Like, this is... Oh, this is one of those games where... If you're playing a series, it's incredibly frustrating. Because this is a strategy that kind of feels like a free win, at least for a Zerg player. Because you do all the right things. He just killed, by the way, 14 SCVs. Sorry, I missed it. I think those Banelings that I was asking about, yeah, they did indeed roll in through the right side of the map. So, the 2-base all-in that started at minute 6 really is an all-in now at minute 12 and a half. Maybe I gotta reconsider my wording of an all-in. Again, though, losing this base is not really that big of an issue for Serral. I mean, he would prefer keeping it around, I'm sure. Because he's... we're kind of getting to the point as well where Zerg... Really? We're transferring drones up there? Interesting. Where Zerg can start thinking about, yeah, mining from a 4th base. He kind of needs it, actually. Yeah, never mind. He can't really afford losing this. +2 melee finishing up in 5 seconds here. I would like to see this attack, yeah, start right now. Instead, Serral decided to... pull the trigger on it a bit early, and he does push it back once more. 3rd command center is starting, by the way, or it's all... Yeah, it's halfway done here. What a game from ByuN. Do we have an Overseer in the mix? No, no Overseers at the moment, so these Widowmines are going to be able to rearm. Sarah's been terrified to make drones for a long time now. So, he's sitting at only 52. What's weird here as well, though, is that ByuN is making a 3rd command center, but not adding on any new SCVs. So he just lost a lot of them to that Baneling roll-by. But he hasn't actually... It's a bit funky. Are we gonna go... Okay, now we're gonna go for the one over here. Good scout right there by Serral coming in. One fake Hydralisk on the right side of the screen as well. That one is just hanging out on this map. That's what it calls home, I guess. Okay, push over here once again. That's, yeah, a lot of Roaches and Ravagers, but I don't know if it's enough. Zergling run by into the main base, actually, of the Terran. Look at Serral. Oh, no. I wonder if Serral's been under the assumption that this was a third command center all this time, and that he did not quite realize that this was the main base that flew on up there. Because these links in the main base actually aren't very good. Yeah, normally when the Terran's door is wide open, you run in with your Zerglings, but you gotta reconsider some of your basics in a strange game like this one. So we have a third command center, but now finally an SCV starts up again. How are we 14 minutes in, and only just now the third command center is done? Well, getting the kill on this base in the top right would actually be absolutely massive. Okay. Big Zergling counterattack once again towards this low ground. Couple Marines and Marauders here have to stim for their lives as well, but that's actually a scary amount of Terran. Fight over here also not going poorly for ByuN. Look at this. This is the army size over time. So despite the fact that ByuN has had significantly less income throughout this game, he's been able to, get a nice advantage here as far as the army size goes. So over the last 10 minutes, Serral has been absolutely destroying his opponent economically. And yet he can't quite keep up with the cost efficiency. Yeah, he decided to mix in a few infestors. I actually quite like that idea. One fungal growth, and this game is over. Zergling run by over here once again, shutting down a lot of that aggression and taking the wind out of the sails right here of ByuN. Big attack over here. Oh, infestor? Fungal? Really? Okay. ByuN decided to not even pre-split some of his units, he just ran at it. He apparently knew somehow, some way that his opponent wasn't looking. Drop into the main base as well. Really, we're gonna go for a doom drop straight to the main. Hive at this point is done. Burrow is coming up as well. I don't mind it. Yeah, more SCVs are falling on the other side of the map. I just want to emphasize that this series was played at the final Premier Tournament of 2023. So this is a $75,000 prize pool. It's not that ByuN is just doing a fun little strategy in a weekly cup where $100 is on the line. No. This is for all the marbles, you know? It's for $75,000. Well, for the total prize pool of the whole event anyways, but it's an interesting strategy to bring out against one of the scariest Zerg players in the world. Like, you can only bring this out if you feel confident about it, but considering the amount of variety that ByuN is throwing at his opponent, it doesn't seem to be that concise. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, once again, a pickup over there. Push over here as well. Trying to pre-split his units. Medevacs in the top left-hand corner, going after a fight over here. Fungal growth would be really nice, but ByuN keeps just barely out of range. Okay, well, he's gonna go after all of the Medevacs here instead. I don't mind it. Those Medevacs really are the lifeline. Once again, an unload inside of the main base of Serral. Serral's starting to break through some of it. Finally catches up again in that supply count. At least last time I checked, he didn't really have that much supply. Fungal! Nice fungal. Is that enough Zerg, though? I don't think so. I think you need to run, Serral. That's not enough. No, that's not enough Zerg. Oh my god, well, a couple Binglings suddenly came out of nowhere. Did ByuN just do this? I don't know. How are we 18 minutes into a game that was supposed to end at minute 6? These guys are actually so evenly matched. Okay. Nice connection right there. Do we have enough energy for a fungal growth? No, we need 75. Terran reinforcement showing up. These medevacs are putting in so much work here for ByuN. He's starting to pile through some of this army right here in the center of the map. There's that fungal growth I was hoping for earlier, but GG is cold. Serral doesn't have enough stuff to hold on. It's ByuN who obtains the victory with one of the strangest strategies I've seen all year. You know, the craziest part about that previous game from ByuN is the fact that he knew he was gonna be playing against Serral for at least a couple hours, maybe even overnight, right? So he knew who he was gonna be facing off against next, and he decided to bring that strategy? Now, don't get me wrong, some of the Korean players, and some of the non-Korean players as well, but I notice this is mostly a trend for a lot of Korean pros. They do like to gamble from time to time. They like go for strategies that aren't really justifiable if StarCraft 2 was an Excel spreadsheet, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't really come out net positive most of the time, but it's a strategy that's really good to throw a curveball at the opponent. It kind of felt like, honestly, ByuN was freestyling. Like, maybe he messed up his build order or something and he just tried to make the best of it. Like, that could have also very well happened. That he wanted to go for something else entirely, but he forgot, like, I don't know, I wasn't paying super close attention. Because he already went for, like, 2 Reapers. Now he's going for 5 Reapers. Because there is actually, yeah, he's going to go all the way up to, like, 8, I guess. There's a 3rd barracks in the main base. That could actually be that he, like, messed up his build and he's like, you know what? I may as well keep going. Right? I may as well put my foot on the gas and just keep going. Weird game, but you know what? It worked. So can we really judge him? Yes, we can. No, actually, yeah, we absolutely can. Nice little bit of control right here on the Reapers. Getting one of the queens, maybe? Brenda with 2 health. Brenda, don't do it. Don't go to the ramp, Brenda. Terran is ready to sacrifice herself for Brenda. Nice round over here with the Zerglings, though. And this is immediately taking the wind out of the sails of Terran. Yep. That is one of the worst moments, actually, to have happen when you're playing this Reaper opener. Now you suddenly have to transition. Okay, so we're once again doing a bio transition. Will we go for a 3rd command center earlier than the 13-minute mark this time around? That's the question that I have. Probably. Probably. Here's the factory. Well, at the very least, we're not gonna go for a 3rd CC just yet. I think we'll probably be seeing a starport as well momentarily. Great scout right there, though, by Serral. Now he sees what he's playing against. But this is also a bit of a strange one, right? Like, do you assume that ByuN has come up with a new strategy and that he has been saving it until he faced a world-class Zerg? Right? Was it actually a misplay from ByuN? Do you just blindly prepare right now as if it is the same strategy from the previous game, just with a slightly different start? Or do you think that your opponent misplayed and do you just try to play a safe follow-up once again? Well, apparently what we do for now is make a stupid amount of drones. That's the plan. Serral's economy is going to skyrocket ahead. Now, I think he is making adjustments. Yep, so I think what Serral's trying to do, I think he's successfully figured out what his opponent is going for here. Even though he's had very little information. He knows the previous game. He knows he's playing against ByuN, so obviously he knows the tendencies. And he's just now seen the timing of the factory. That alone will give him the timing of when the attack will come. So generally, we don't see Terrans move out until they have 2 medevacs. So seeing the start timing of the factory also gives you the end timing of the medevacs, if that makes any sense. So look at Serral, powering out drones. He is going straight to full 3-base saturation. Is this too greedy? Because if you look at the worker count right now, yeah, he's gonna go to 67 workers here. I don't think he can start up a 4th base, but he may very well be thinking about going for a 4th hatchery. He's going lair. Now he finally starts up unit production. If Serral can defend against this first big attack from ByuN, he is gonna be miles ahead. His economy, yeah, is going to skyrocket. Now, it didn't matter so much in the previous game, I guess, or at least it seemed like it didn't matter. But if Serral can make sufficient amounts of units and never really run around like a headless chicken, you know, where he's just putting fires out left, right, and center, there's even a 4th base coming up. Look at this. This is a 4th hatchery before Terran has even thought about a 3rd command center. Supply block here for ByuN, by the way. Very small one, but when you're going for a 2-base all-in, it's very significant. Yeah, I think Serral has this attack held. Easy peasy. And now suddenly we have a really nice Zerg timing attack on the back of this. Ah, this looks scary, but it's really not. Nah, this is perfectly done right here by Serral. This is exactly what you want to have as a Zerg. He's got roach speed +1/+1 on the horizon. That's gonna give him one hell of a timing attack. It's gonna be very difficult for Terran to actually secure another base. But judging here by the way that ByuN is playing, he's not planning on going for another base. No, I thought maybe the previous game was a mistake here, but I don't think it was. I think it was fully intentional. Now, Serral might not go for the timing attack, because attacking into 2-base Terran doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I kind of like the idea of just going into a Hive and maybe going for a Viper or two or something like that. But just, yeah, keep tabs on whether or not Terran's taking a 3rd base. If not, you have like 50% more economy than they do. So at least in theory, you should come out ahead over time. No Banelings this time around either. I actually think the Baneling decision is a good one in this game. Oh, well, catching the siege tanks unsieged. That's 1 tank down. 2nd tank does get picked up, but cute play there from ByuN. But I think this is this particular game is falling flat on its face. Excellent reaction right there by Serral. So now he's going into Banelings. It makes a lot more sense. So when you're kind of on like a low economy, where you're on like, yeah, below 60 workers, which is I think what Serral was on in a lot of that previous game, Banelings just feel like a pretty rough unit. Like, they rarely like, how do you say this? They don't really trade very cost efficiently. So you need to have, like, unless Terran obviously allows it, right? But against Terrans like ByuN, generally you don't get the best cost-efficient trades. So if you know that that is the case, as we once again have a 3rd command center super late here. If you know that that is the case, though, I guess it's not a terrible idea to, yeah, just skip the Banelings until you get like to like 70 workers or so. So now we're at 77. There's really nothing ByuN can do here. Yeah, and this is why 2-base all-ins have really lost popularity over the years. Now, it could definitely be that ByuN is playing this way because he's horrified of playing Serral in a macro game. Maybe that is what he's trying to avoid here at all costs. Serral right now, a near 70 supply advantage over his opponent. Adrenal glands coming up, Ravagers 2-2, I mean, I don't see it, ByuN. I want to see you pull a rabbit out of a hat. I want to believe. Well, this choke point is horrible for the Zerg. So that would be the start of something. Wanna be starting something. Liberators, by the way, joining the fray. Yeah, there's a 3rd command center, but it's not even got an orbital command yet. Nah, this is never gonna happen. I don't believe it. Serral is absolutely overwhelming his army. There it is. Game number 2 goes in favor of the finisher. So that was a perfect example, though, on how Zergs approach pretty much any matchup in a macro game. Ideally, if you have perfect information, what you do as a Zerg is make all the drones you can possibly get away with. So say, for example, you know, okay, my opponent is gonna be attacking me at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. You wanna probably make workers until about 5 minutes and then a non-stop army. Because the longer that those workers are around for, the more income and eventual army you will have. Assuming all your injects and all that are on point, right? And that was honestly a bit of a masterclass right there from Serral. How you play a series of StarCraft 2, ByuN went for essentially the same follow-up once again, 2 times in a row, and even though it's not something that Serral can play against all too frequently, because it's just such an uncommon style. Oh, we're gonna go command center first? Okay, I like that actually. Yeah, it's just such an uncommon style, Serral reacted perfectly. It really doesn't get much better than what Serral did there in that 2nd game. So, we have to mix it up here, ByuN. There's really no way that, yeah, you're gonna be able to pull that build off once again. Maybe. If he does it again, I'm gonna lose my mind. Maybe he's doing it right now with a greedier start, so a command center first. No varieties right here on the side of the Zerg. Hatch into a gas, into a spawning pool. Nothing all too crazy here. It'd be really funny if he does the same thing again. It is double gas on the back of this, so I doubt it, but you never know. You never know with ByuN. Bit of a wild card. Bit of a gambler. But you know what? He's a previous world champion of StarCraft 2, so I guess he's doing something right. Yeah, I think those are strategies, though, that are really bad to play on the ladder. So say you're playing just a single game against an opponent. That's not a build you can really win with very consistently over the long run. But when you're playing a series, Those build orders are very scary. Like, playing a best of 3 or a best of 5 or even a best of 7 is very different than just playing a single game. Really, ByuN? Did you see that? I'm gonna back up. That was unnecessary, but also kind of cool. So the SCV finished up the command center on the top section of it. And apparently, in order to go to this mineral field really fast, he put the SCV in the command center and then unloaded it on the other side. Extra mineral gained? Yeah, maybe. Maybe 1. So an SCV mines for about 0.8 minerals a second, give or take. Yeah, I guess he saved himself maybe about 0.8 minerals there. May as well. There will one day be a game where that makes all the difference. And then again, there's not really that much more you really need to do. Alrighty. So what are we doing here on the side of Zerg? I feel like I've had my camera on Terran for like 90% of this series so far. We've got ourselves a quick metabolic boost upgrade. Serral has decided to pull all the drones out of gas. He's looking around though. Yeah, he's looking around, making sure that there's no gold base taken, that there's no proxy barracks or factory or starport or anything over here in the northern section of the map. From Serral's point of view, ByuN is playing like a bit of a donkey, right? Let's be real. This is what Serral's thinking right now. Like, ByuN is clearly not feeling up to the task to play a longer macro game. So what sort of shitty strategy is he gonna throw at me this game? Right? That's what Serral is likely thinking here at this point. Well, now he's getting confirmation that everything's normal, albeit with a command center first. So that again is a bit of a coin flip there from ByuN, of course, because if this would have been a pull first from Serral or early game aggression, yeah, could have been a lot of trouble. Turns out, this is not going to be a bad strategy right here from ByuN. It's gonna be a tried and true build. Will we see a third command center on the back of this? Because normally it should come up within the next half minute or so. That will remain a question. I think he probably will be. Serral coming in with the normal scout timing. He sees the 1-1-1 in the main base, so he knows exactly what he's playing against. This is Hellions together with Cloaked Banshee into a biological army here in the end. Roachwarn once again coming up. Yeah, so we've seen Serral play this in a lot of his games lately, where he's going Roach into Ling Bane into quick Vipers with a Hive. It's interesting. I think the Hive needs to start up like pre-7 minutes. Or what was it? 6:45 or so? I mean, I recently did a bit of an analysis, an unintentional analysis, in a StarCraft cast where I featured Serral, where he was like 10 seconds late, and it ultimately ended up costing him dearly. But it seems like this is one of those, I don't want to die to anything stupid sort of starts. So I am expecting a Baneling Nest eventually, but Roaches could obviously put in a bit of work by themselves too. None of the other Zergs really play this way though. It seems like a really good build if you enjoy forcing the distance. By the way, we did have a third command center. Normally I don't even bring this up because it's so unremarkable, but makes sense. At least to point it out in this game. 4 additional barracks, by the way, on the back of this. So we're gonna go up to 7 barracks? No, we're going up to 5, I was gonna say. Wait, no, what? What just happened here? No, we're gonna go up to 5. I thought for a second we were going up to even more, but I think I opened up the structure stab at the same time as I did the production. And I thought, like, they must have finished right around the time that I switched tabs there, so I got a little confused right there. I thought for a second we were going straight into, like, maybe like an 8 Rex all-in off of 3 command center, which, you know what, I am a fan of. I think it's a good build. We recently saw, I think this was Oliveira, have some success with the 8 Rex build order. I think it's a strong strategy, especially in my mind. ByuN, I mean, he is a better microer than Oliveira. Are we just gonna play a big macro game now, ByuN? Is that what we're doing? Are we gonna go... So that's the question, I guess, right? Will we go into a 4th command center now, or are we gonna add on 3 more barracks? So we're currently at 5. So normally 5 into a 4th command center is the norm. But you can also most definitely just make it like an all-in off of 8 Rex. So that was a good snipe right there by Serral. 8 barracks on triple command center allows you a tremendous amount of unit production. Yeah, so there's that hive coming up, pre-7 minutes. This is gonna give Serral Vipers that he needs against any sort of siege tank timing attack. So ByuN apparently using game number 1 and 2 as warm-up, and now we're playing a proper macro game. It kind of feels to me like he was kind of scared to play this style against Serral. So we'll see how this goes. There's the second factory coming up. Yeah, so we're just playing a big macro game. Serral, by the way, fully aware of everything. Little changeling there does eventually get gunned down, but the timing here of all of this is, at least from what I can tell, pretty much flawless. Baneling speed may just be a bit delayed. But you don't necessarily... Yeah, Baneling speed is nice, but I guess when you have Roach Ravager, it's not necessarily your most important upgrade. I think going into the hive and getting those Vipers at a reasonable time is more important. Drilling Claws coming up. There's the 4th CC. So we are just going into a proper macro game here. Okay. I'm a fan. Let's see how it goes. Vipers coming up right now. Oh, Serral hitting a supply block. Washed up. Confirmed. There's the Vipers. Anytime a pro gamer makes a mistake, it means they're washed up, right? It does make it a little scary though, so yeah, ByuN going for that standard timing attack. Viper's about halfway done at this point. If they were done right now, accumulating energy, this attack from Terran would not be nearly as scary. Right now, yeah, they are a critical unit because Blinding Cloud changes everything. I mean, I'm not really too impressed by this Terran army, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, ByuN has decided to do ByuN things. And rather than going for a full frontal assault, he decides to go for an attack as well with a drop. Because of course he does. But that also makes his attack much less scary for the Zerg player to deal with, I think, in this scenario. Ultra Cavern, okay. So we're going +2 missile and an Ultralisk Cavern. Oh, we're having triple okay. We have triple evolution chamber here. Yeah, so Serral's feeling really, really good. You only ever go triple Evo when you're feeling particularly strong. There's no reason to go triple Evo otherwise. Zergling counterattack over here, lined up with the Adrenal Glands upgrade reasonably well. Drop over here is gonna get shut down as well, I think, with relative ease, and that's a lot of SCVs going down. So this is really the first time that Serral goes to the other side of the map in this, well, in this game. And he's actually dealing a tremendous amount of damage. Very slow reaction speed right there by ByuN, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, that is 20, what? How are we losing 20, 30 SCVs? ByuN, wake up! He's in the middle of the map skirmishing against irrelevant units. He's losing that fight too, it looks like. 37 SCVs to like what, a 20 Zergling counterattack? I think, yeah, looking at this now, I think ByuN was just terrified to play a macro game. Maybe he's feeling a little under the weather, maybe he's just not feeling all too fine here. That was unnecessary. Yeah, look at the resources lost at this point as more Zerglings are running in. Zerg is now leading in economy, leading in upgrades, and leading in cost efficiency. So, when it comes to all the pillars of StarCraft 2, Serral is currently ahead. Let's see. Zergling, or no, not a Zergling counterattack, a Roach counterattack. At the very least, the depot gets lifted this time around. The thing is, Serral wants to give up these Roaches at this point. He wants to replace those Roaches with better supply units! Oh, Blinding Cloud almost forcing those Marines to run head first into the Banelings. Roaches here still getting some good value though. 52 Zerglings coming up. Yeah, no need to make Ultras in this game. If you have the Larva, you may as well just go for Zerglings. Okay, we're gonna go for 1 Ultra. Fair enough. Golden Minerals right now also coming up. This is a very scary game right now for ByuN. It's an uphill battle for sure. Can he do it? Most definitely. But surviving the next attack here from Serral is gonna be tough. Now this is a map where there's quite a few choke points, so it's quite difficult for Zerg to get a proper angle in. But I've got a feeling that securing this command center on the low ground is going to be very difficult. At the very least when it comes to keeping all your other bases alive as well. Hydra down on the back of this. Okay, so Serral actually playing this very cautiously. Keep in mind, this is still for all the marbles, like I mentioned earlier. It's definitely a game where you want to secure your win. You don't really want to take a lot of chances. So no gambling right here by the Finnish player. Instead, he's just taking as many bases as possible, and he's allowing his opponent a 5th base. That surprises me a little bit. I think it would have been a reasonable response here from him if he decided to go, yeah, and just deny this base over and over and over again. By the way, you can see that ByuN is feeling the heat too, because no planetary over here. Instead, he's trying to catch up by making an orbital command, but that also makes this base significantly easier to attack, and those SCVs are vulnerable. Man, I would have loved to see this game without 54 SCVs going down to random Zergling run bys. Kind of insane, honestly. Yeah, so Serral's basically just crossing every T and dotting every I, getting every upgrade, getting all the tech. He'll probably go for like a Nidus Worm once he thinks about it. He can essentially afford anything that he likes. I'm a bit surprised he's given his opponent this base, mostly because you can see that now, yeah, ByuN is maxed out. Now ByuN is starting to secure, yeah, pretty decent economy as well. He's got a nice bank. He doesn't quite have a late game army yet though, and that's what's making me a little bit nervous. Triple command center, really, ByuN? Oh my god, okay. Well, if you can get away with it, it's gonna be nice. More gambling. It's very risky. So what he really needs is these command centers, plus a transition towards liberators and maybe ghosts, right? That would be absolutely amazing right here for the Terran. So there's the Ghost Academy researching the cloaking upgrade. Okay, I do like the way that ByuN plays this though. He's very aware of the situation that he's finding himself in, so he is taking chances whenever he needs to. And so far, I kind of feel like the last few minutes have been going substantially better for the Terran than they really should have. Don't get me wrong, this is still a horrible spot for Terran. But I did not think that Serral was going to allow his opponent to sort of crawl back into it. We're killing queens off right now, by the way. To replace some Hydralisk, apparently. Okay. Great Widowmine hit. Matter of fact, drop is going to intercept this Zerg counterattack too, and it's going to shut it down. Command centers are finishing. So that's a planetary now. We do have an infestor here in the mineral line, by the way, pretending to be an SCV. Strangest SCV I've ever seen. Lurker down on the back of this. Okay. Here's another attack by the Zerg. Yeah, and Serral just has so much money to replace this. Finish him, Serral! Because if you don't, this game is actually going to get very tough. I've seen a lot of late game Zerg versus Terran lately, and let's just say that Terran's efficiency in the late game with the new multiplayer balance patch is kind of insane. Still though, yeah, fantastic units lost tab right here for the Zerg. One pesky Zergling blocking this command center. ByuN is going to try and become next door neighbors here with the Zerg. Serral's taking the bases in the top left. Going into infestors, going into lurker upgrades. The only thing I don't really like here for Serral is the amount of gas he's got in the bank. I think he really should be picking up some more gas. Going for the rich Vespene geysers, which is fair enough. Now Ghosts and Liberators, by the way, are hitting the battlefield. I think a lot of Zerg players would have drawn the line at 4 base Terran economy, but Serral's basically saying, okay, I'm drawing the line at 5. So I'm giving you 5 bases to mine, but no more than that. So I think he's going to continuously attack this base over here in the bottom right, or not. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the decision-making here from Serral over the last few minutes, but that's also maybe a little bit of bias coming in. I've been playing quite a bit of ladder myself as of late, and I cannot win a late game against Terran for the life of me. So maybe it's just making me nervous, but Serral is feeling in complete control here. That is certainly possible. Okay. Adaptive Talents coming up, but another fight over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Should get rid of that command center pretty easily. EMP, nicely done. Yeah, I mean, if ByuN secures this base, he decides to cancel it. Okay. Making the executive call right there to cancel that base. Liberators and whatever he can, harassing on the right side of the map as well. He made the executive call right there to cancel the planetary fortress, even though it could have finished. That may come back to haunt him there, but another Zergling here, trying to just be as annoying as possible. A lot of randomly positioned Widow Mines, hoping for that lucky hit. Zerglings once again going through this choke point. Medevac helping out a ton. Zerg pushing up this high ground. Yeah, I think all of this is starting to crumble right now. Excellent control of the game though by Serral. I think game number 2 and game number 3 here are great examples as to why this man is feared in this particular matchup. And, well, I guess in StarCraft 2 in general. Brilliantly played right here by the finisher. It's Serral who wins over ByuN 2-1.